All right. Good evening, all. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's good if you note for the record that all members are present. Everyone, please stand up and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Vice President Del Palacio, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
The Tolleson Union High School District serves 14,000 students with 15 indigenous communities represented throughout our 7 high schools. The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Akamil Atam Pima and Peepash Maricopa peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connection to this land, their rich culture, their language, and their invaluable contributions they have made and continue to make in our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board meeting, let us remember the significance of these lands and honor their legacy of the original stewards of this territory.
All right, thank you. All right, we will now proceed to the hearing for discussion to the first revision of the fiscal 2025-2026 budget. Superintendent Caius.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to invite up our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Joyce Council, to present our revision to this year's budget. And not seeing Joyce. No. All right, I will go ahead and present this year's budget if I can get the clicker. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so this is our 2025-26 revised budget. This is the first revision for this fiscal year. And there's Joyce. I was already calling you up, Joyce.
Governor Board President Chapman, board members, and Superintendent Caius. My name is Joyce Council. I'm here tonight to present to you the adopted budget was based, a call for public hearing to discuss the first revision to the fiscal year 25-26 budget. The adopted budget was based on, this is our agenda. Item revised, budget limit, and questions. The adopted budget was revised based on student count, estimated to actual, the budget balance carried forward, and estimated to actual, override estimated to actual. So our M&O budget limit for FY26 is $169,585,048. Capital is $20,684,689. So the budget was in the budget packet. So now we open it up for questions.
Members, any questions?
Yes. Superintendent, guys, with my request earlier, discussion about the reduced amount and where they're being removed from, you mentioned is M&O, site funds, and the capital, and what percentage and what's the amount?
Yes, Member Sun, President Chapman, members of the board. So the revised budget is now based on our actual counts. When we bring forward the original budget that was presented to the board back in June and July, that was based on an estimated count. At the time that we brought forward that budget, our estimated count that we were using was a 14,000 student count, which is not where we're currently at. So after we revise, the major impacts that you see are in our revenue control limit, which feeds into our maintenance and operations. And so that goes down from just over 106 million to 101,492,000. For classroom site fund, there's also been a revision there that brings that down by 383,000. And the capital calculation will mostly hit next year, but that's coming down 21,000 from what we adopted. Overall, you're just shy of a $5 million impact from where we were when we adopted based on updating to the actual student counts.
So decrease amount from the 500 estimate, decrease in enrollment from the M&O Capital Site Fund, you said the impact is 5 million?
Yes, just shy of 5 million.
And out of the 5 million, what was the M&O again?
The M&O is the lion's share of that. That's 4,557,920 is the reduction in the revenue control limit.
So with this revised budget at 169 million, what was the amount originally set back in July?
So the original amount that we did back in July was 182,381,694. In addition to the
I'm
reduction,
sorry, can you repeat that number again? 182 point what?
182,381,694. But in addition to the reductions, there's also a reallocation. The district additional assistance that in the adopted budget was going towards M&O is now in capital. So you have a reallocation that's also in there.
What
not
was the
just
reallocation from M&O to capital?
the 9,458,162 being generated for capital through district additional assistance is now in the capital fund. It's not redirected to.
I understand. The
maintenance
question
operations.
is, what was the amount from being moved from M&O to capital? You said 9.4, is that correct?
Yes, 9.4 is the DAA that is now in capital, not in M&O.
So with 9.4 and the 5 million, that would compensate the differentiation from the 169.58 million down to 182.38 currently, I'm sorry, from July, from now to down to 169 million. So I just want to make sure those numbers add up. So well done, Joyce. But thank you for your answers.
Any other questions from members? Thank you, Ms. Council. We will now open this up for public hearing portion. We have 3 requests. Call them in the order I received them. Remember, questions, comments are specific to the revisions being made to the budget. So we have Kim Owens.
I asked this question in July at the budget hearing. I'll ask it again tonight. I asked it also in August. Arizona Article 9, Section 7, the gift clause forbids the gift of public funds. The courts have been clear that includes anything of monetary benefit to a board member. Does this current budget, as it's revised, continue to include AIU tuition that benefits directly any board member?
President Chapman, members of the board, Ms. Owens, as stated at the adoption of the budget, there is nothing in this budget, in the 25-26 budget, that has payments to AIU for board members.
Did the 24-25 budget include that? So is that a difference in the 2 years?
That's not germane to.
It is germane if we're
It's not
talking
germane
about.
if we're talking about the revision of the
So
current
the
year
answer
budget.
is yes, it did. Otherwise, you would just say no. The other question is, the $5 million error, did you enter into contractual obligations that had to be met based on that $5 million error, and will that increase classroom size?
President Chapman, members of the board, Ms. Owens, it's not a $5 million error. You start your budget off with an estimate. You estimate high, because if you estimate low, you are locked into the lower numbers for certain calculations, and you cannot revise those upwards after the adoption of the budget because tax rates are set. So it's not a $5 million error. However, to your question of, are we going to increase class sizes because of a reduced budget? No. There are no layoffs, no RIFs, no increases in class size because of changes in our budget.
And one last question. The budget was, you foresaw a larger number of students than you have now. Have you made that calculation change in looking at building school number 8 in addition to the excess capacity that we already have?
President Chapman, members of the board, first I'll defer to President Chapman on whether or not that is germane if we are talking about construction of the new high school and not the purpose of revising the budget.
Well,
The high
I think it
school is a
is
different
germane in that you admit that you overestimated the number of students that you would have.
The student number would be germane, but the school construction would not
So,
be.
so the question is, you admit you overestimated the number of students, you overestimated the number of students you would have by about 500, is that correct?
President Chapman, members of the board, every single year that I have been here, the adopted budget has had a student count represented in it that is higher than the actual. That is standard practice, because if you error low,
I understand
you
that.
lose funding.
The question was specifically to how many students did you overestimate?
so I would say it's actually above 500. So the 500 that Member Sun is referring to is looking at enrollment counts. Enrollment counts are down almost 500 from where they were last year, so it's about 440. The budget, the 14,000, reflects growth. The growth is also not present, so we are down about 440 from prior year count. And in addition to that, the growth was not realized.
A
So
point of order, there's no need to bring my name up when I did not make a single statement regarding this matter whatsoever publicly, so please leave my name out of it.
So how many students were, what was the number again that it was overestimated that you're reducing?
the adopted budget in comparison to today's budget is a little over 700 students different.
So the public should be aware that your current numbers are 700 students overestimated when thinking about an agenda item coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Board President Chapman, I just have a statement regarding the comments about the estimate of students. To my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, the decreased enrollment was unforeseen due to the current atmosphere of the political attack on immigrants' families, and that under those circumstances, it was unforeseen. The estimation was the best that the district and staff were able to come up with. I was brought to the matter, the attention to it, and I do support the estimate was correct at the time. This is a common practice that we revise budgets. By statute, we don't really have to, but once we're requested, or we always have done it on our own, is to be more responsible and be a good stewardship of the taxpayers' money so that we don't overspend. And that's why we're here, to make sure that we fall in line within the budget range that has been set up based on the current enrollment of students, which changes from semester. In this situation, the drastic decrease, unfortunately, is affecting our most vulnerable community members, and those are our immigrants. And it's a shame that they are scared away from their free public education, which is their greatest equalizers. So again, anything I've misspoke, I stand corrected. Thank you.
Mr. Chapman, and I just wanted to reflect for the record, our enrollment has been declining for the past few years. Without us doing an actual demographic study to find out why our families are leaving our district, it's very difficult to pinpoint just to one political climate. Our enrollment has been declining for years.
Well, President Chapman, to that effect, our enrollment has not been declining for years. We saw growth, which is how we were able to convince the School Facilities Board that we were in need of a new school by looking at the growth from last year to the year prior to it. So we had about a 500 student increase between the prior two subsequent years. So I wouldn't say that we've been declining for years. We've been on an upward trend for almost a decade now.
Our next member of the public is Adon Morocco.
It's good to be back. These questions are from Diana Morrow. Since you took her First Amendment rights away, I'm going to speak for her today. Why are we spending over $3 million on software subscriptions that are not educational?
Yes, Mr. Murato, President Chapman, members of the board. So we have staff that need to be paid. That runs through a payroll system. We have contracts that we have to do. That runs through an HR system. There are non-instructional expenses that come with operating a school district. So that includes non-instructional software that's necessary in order to run a business.
And that's $3 million worth? Can you clarify?
President Chapman, members of the board, if that's the number pertained in the budget, then
Page 5.
yes. So, President Chapman, members of the board, Mr. Murato, you're required to budget that you will spend every dollar of your limit. If you budget a number lower than your limit, you lose that funding. It is automatically deducted from you because you're saying you don't need the funding. Districts have to budget higher to match the limit than what they're going to actually spend. So to say that it is exactly $3 million, no. Obviously, there is some cushion in some of these numbers, and that money ends up becoming a rollover. The actual number, we would have to go back into the systems to prove what the actual number is, but there is non-instructional software that is necessary for running a school district.
I understand the business portion of it. How many software subscriptions do we have with the $3 million, understanding that you do have a buffer?
Yes,
So I would say these aren't specific to the revisions. These would have been questions possibly for adoption as far as that, but it's also, you're talking about expenses. We're just talking about budgeting and then the budget revision. So these are expenses.
Still money, right?
Yes, but as far as the agenda goes, it's two different things.
So we're not gonna create a budget to pay for those subscriptions today?
Well, we already created the budget.
Okay, but that's why we're here, right?
We're revising the
Can I-
budget based on actual
Can I
numbers.
get clarification? Can you email me all of that stuff?
Mr. Murato, yes, if you send us over a public records request of exactly what you're looking for, we can have somebody pull that data to be able to send that data to you.
Is it gonna be on the same timeline as GRESS, over 100 days for my public request?
Mr. Murato, President Chapman, members of the board, if you tell us that you cannot afford $1 a page for what you're requesting, then yes.
I pay my
would assume.
taxes here. I shouldn't have to pay for any of that stuff. I pay your salary.
Yes, and giving you things for free that are charged to others is a gift of public funds and a violation of statute.
Fair enough, but I still want what I want, so I will make that request.
Excuse me, can I speak on this? This is one of the items that was adopted back in June. It is not one of the items that was revised.
Right.
Okay, so that item, that dollar amount that he is talking about was adopted in June. It is not a revision.
Thank you. Our last member of the public is David Briggs.
Chapman, members of the governing board. Bond money on December 9th, 2025 shows 174,980,382 in Fund 630. Is that all the bond money that's left in the bonds? 19, 21, 23, and 24?
President Chapman, members of the board, Mr. Briggs, no, it is not. We have 125 million that has not been issued.
So the 125 million that has not been issued was not issued in January of this year?
President Chapman, members of the board, Mr. Briggs, that is correct. The 125 million that I said has not been issued was not issued in January or at any time prior. We have a $125 million authorization, to which I spoke during the, I believe it was the 2 board meetings ago. I put the numbers up there. We have 125 million that is authorized and unissued.
So the 112 million that's been authorized for administrative capital is not part of that 174.
President Chapman, members of the board, Mr. Briggs, that is an incorrect statement. The previously issued funds are allocated based on the type of expense across the authorizations. We are able to make that allocation at the time of the expense. So across the 2 authorizations that were at hand at the time of issuance, we are allowed to make those allocations and those authorizations. So the previously issued 125 million is a combination of the 23 and 24 bond authorizations. The outstanding 125 million that is yet to be authorized is also a combination of the 23 and 24 authorizations.
Okay, so my question is, when you broke it down the other night, you broke 112 out that was earmarked for administrative capital projects. And that's not in that 174, that's part of the 125 not been issued, is that correct?
Sorry, just real quick. This isn't germane to a revision because we haven't drawn on dollars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Or it's not part of the revision, I guess, is really what I'm getting at.
and Mr. Briggs is asking the exact same question that I just answered, so I'll give you the same answer again.
You don't need to do that. I heard it the first time. Are there any other funds that capital money could come to assist in capital projects?
Yes.
And those are, what funds are those?
The capital outlay fund obviously can do capital projects. The Civic Center Fund is allowed to do capital or M&O. We have indirect costs. I mean, depending on what the capital is. There's also the CTE funds. So yes, there's a good handful of funds. If you're just talking about what can legally be spent on capital, there's at least a dozen or so funds that can legally be spent on capital.
You have enough funds in capital currently to build a district office and a new high school?
That's
Inclusive,
that's not germane to our budget revision.
Really? Okay. In July, there was $63 million plus in Fund 695, new school facilities. There's $0 in the revised budget. Why is that?
Mr. Briggs, President Chapman, I'd have to double check that, but yes, those funds are still available at the point that we adopt a GMP and we can begin moving forward with the School Facilities Board. To date, we have not adopted a GMP.
So but it was there in July. And just
Yes,
wiped out of
Mr.
this
Briggs, President Chapman, members of the board, it was there in July as the anticipation of this year's allocation. If everyone remembers, 1 year ago today, I went and appealed to the SFB to authorize the construction of our new school and let them know we would throw a shovel in the ground the next day if we could get that approval. The anticipation was that we would begin drawing those funds down here on July 1st, but to date, we have not adopted a GMP, we have not finalized the design, so we have not drawn a dollar of those funds yet.
Okay. So it's not in the revised budget? Will it be in the next revision if you use it? How can you use it if it's not there?
Mr. Briggs, President Chapman, yes, it would be in the revised budget, assuming we adopt a GMP and begin moving forward with constructing the new high school.
In Fund 100, regular ed, salaries and benefits went from $107,227,492 $421 in FY '25 to $65,732,519 FY '26. A difference of $41,494,902. Can that money be used for M&O or capital?
Mr. Briggs, you are specifically talking about the M&O funds and asking if they can be used for M&O or capital?
No, I'm specifically asking about a $41 million plus drop in funds. Can it only be used for M&O?
Mr. Briggs,
It's
So-
Dr. Briggs, Jeremy.
so it is the funds that you have, right? You can reallocate your funds throughout the year. So if you're asking, is there a conceivable way to have funds in M&O that by the end of the year you could be using in capital? Yes, all the way up through May 15th, you are allowed to reallocate your funds in both directions, whether you are looking at district additional assistance, revenue control limit, you are allowed to do reallocations throughout the fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. A comment was just made about student growth. In '24, your ADM was 13,533. 2025, it'd go up to 13,791, an increase of 200 and some. '26, it's 13,434. That's significantly down. So you are going down. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Briggs. All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Council. Appreciate it. That concludes the public hearing for the budget revision. I will call the regular meeting to order. Can I get a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All right. Member McGillicuddy, Romero.
Yes.
Vice President Del Palacio.
Yes.
Member Sutton. Member Lunanera.
No.
And I vote yes. That motion carries. And now we will jump to our celebrations. We're welcoming the VFW Post 40 for the 2025-2026 Teacher of the Year and Voice of Democracy Essay Contest winners, Superintendent Caius.
Yes. President Chapman, members of the board, I'd like to invite up our guests from VFW Post 40 to announce their 2025-26 winners in various categories, including Teacher of the Year and Voice of Democracy Essay Contest. And to recognize and present our awards tonight, I'd like to welcome Tiffany Jones Bowling from the VFW to do this presentation.
Mr. Chapman, members of the board. Good evening. My name is Tiffany Jones Bowling, Junior Vice Commander of VFW Post 40, and I'm here today with my Senior Vice, Janice Owens, and our Commander, Mr. John Garrison. On behalf of Pat Tillman Memorial VFW Post 40, it is my honor to present the awards for this year's Voice of Democracy competition, the VFW's premier national audio essay contest, now in its 78th year. Each year, high school students across the nation record their thoughts on patriotism, citizenship, and what it means to be an American. Their voices remind us that the future of this country is bright, thoughtful, and full of promise. Tonight, we are proud to recognize two outstanding students who rose to the top in a very competitive field. Our first honoree this evening is Miss Michaela Gutierrez from Westview High School, who earned 5th place in this year's competition. Michaela's essay was thoughtful, courageous, and heartfelt, qualities that truly embodied the spirit of the Voice of Democracy program. We are proud to recognize her dedication and hard work this evening. Michaela? Our second honoree this evening is Mr. Jaden Conkey from University High School, who earned first place at BFW Post 40 level. Jaden's delivery, insight, and clarity made his submission stand out immediately. Jaden has already advanced to the district competition, where judging is currently underway, and he is strongly favored to move on. If he continues through the state level as expected, he will represent Arizona at the National Voice of Democracy competition, where the top prize is a $35,000 scholarship. We are incredibly proud of Jaden and excited to watch his journey. Jaden? Both of these students represent the very best of our community's youth. Their voices matter, their perspectives matter, and we are honored to recognize their hard work. We also have from this district our first place teacher of the year for the high school competition. He's not here tonight because he's coaching. We will recognize him tomorrow, but I do want to just say congratulations to Mr. Garrett Cardoza of West Point High School. We do have a $400 check for him. Mr. Cardoza also has one for District 3, and he is representing, well, he's going to go up to the state competition and hopefully on to the national competition. So congratulations to Mr. Garrett Cardoza as well.
I don't need a microphone. If we could have all veterans who are in the room, if you could stand up. No one does more for veterans than the Veterans of Foreign Wars. We'd like to thank you for having this opportunity to recognize these individuals. Thank you.
All right. First, I want to thank representatives from the VFW. Appreciate the work that you're doing and recognizing our students and staff. I definitely want to acknowledge and congratulate Michaela, Jaden, and Garrett for representing their schools in the district well. Congratulations. Members, board, anything you'd like to add in there?
Yes, I just want to echo once again, thank you so much to VFW. I actually worked with the mayor of Glendale to get affordable housing, to get that situated. So hopefully that will go, a long ways. And I know that's an ongoing project. And also everything that you guys are giving back to the community and your servitude to the community and to each other, which is so important. And you will always have a place to come home to, and that will be Tolleson Union High School District. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, I want to continue to thank the VFW 40 for being great partners of the district. We've had a Teacher of the Year win before, and so it's nice to see that streak continue. I know it's not easy collecting submissions and judging submissions, but we certainly appreciate the partnership and all that you continue to do to support our students and staff. So thank you.
I would like to echo what my peers here on the board have said, the many thank yous to the VFW for your continued service to our communities, to our veterans, service families, and caregivers. Thank you so much.
And I will echo the same. Thank you for your service, not only to our great country, but also to our great community. It does not go unnoticed. Thank you.
All Just again, thank you for your partnership. We appreciate you recognizing our staff and students this evening, and we appreciate you. Thank you for your service. All right. With that, we will move to our summary of current events. We will start with our superintendent update. Superintendent Caius.
Yes, President Chapman, members of the board. First, like to mention our Tolleson Union High School Mariachi had a wonderful opportunity to play at the state capitol. We went out there; they were the highlight of the event out there. They sang songs like El Rey. It was a great event. You can see they all got to take a picture with Governor Hobbs as well. So, big shout out to our Tolleson Mariachi for being able to go down there for the tree lighting ceremony at the state capitol. The Pendergast Middle School Superintendent Student Council visited Tolleson Union and University High Schools earlier this month. The students had an opportunity to learn about the schools while touring 11 different CTE programs. Students stepped into classrooms, saw labs in actions, and explored the various CTE pathways that we offer. Also, our English language students at Copper Canyon High School recently experienced an interactive virtual reality lesson. The lesson corresponded with National Hispanic Heritage Month and was provided to students in Ms. Pacheco's multilingual learners classes. And Tolleson Union High School played host to our Thanksgiving Day dinner. So it was a great event. Over 1,400 people showed up for the event. ABC 15 was out there providing coverage. And so just many thanks to all those who were able to make that event possible. And that's just some of the highlights. Oh, one more last one. I did send an email out to all staff today. We do have a student who is in the running for Athlete of the Week. So for employees that are listening, if you check your email and you could click on that link and give some votes. Last time I checked, she did edge her way into first place, but it's a pretty tight race. So vote early, vote often.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent Caius. Members of the board, Member Luna Nahara.
Yeah, I just want to just thank everybody's, our principals, our staff, our students, our teachers for a successful close of this semester. I hope you have a restful holiday break and everybody stays safe and that we come back rested and ready to finish off this school year strong. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Sun.
Just want to, wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I know that the first semester came and went, and the results of it has been phenomenal. And that goes to all of you guys that are out there working every day, showing up for our kids and their communities, and striving for the best. Getting another A grade campus is just above and beyond, and that's a win for all of us. Not to take away from the shiny principal of Copper Canyon. There's too many of them. La Jolla. Oh yeah, yikes. My bad. Ultimately, for us, for myself personally, it goes beyond, above and beyond what we are expecting from all of you guys. And that's just the greatest feeling. So, just know that you guys are not forgotten and that we will always be here to support all of you. And that you, in the front line supporting the students, will always comes first. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Member Ortega Romero.
Yeah, I also want to just thank the teachers, staff, administrators, students, everybody for a great year. I'll be the first to say it's been a long year, and just really excited to get some rest and celebrate some time with our families. So looking forward to getting back, and hopefully we could finish the year strong. So happy holidays.
Thank you. Vice President Del Palacio.
Yep, and I see the picture here on the screen, but I had the privilege of attending the Tolleson Thanksgiving dinner. And I want to give a huge shout out to all of our JROTC students that greeted folks in that day, that were volunteering and picking up plates and trash. I want to thank our students that volunteered, our staff that showed up. Mr. Gabe, Lourdes, Ms. Goodman. I got to give a shout out to Principal Perez, who was his first one and did a great job connecting with parents and students. Our dance team was phenomenal. The mariachi team was phenomenal. It was a great time overall. I think we served over 1,000 meals that day. I'm sorry?
1,400.
1,400 meals that day. It was a packed house. It was awesome just having conversations with families and students and former students who came back with their families to enjoy the holiday. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to quickly thank everyone that was involved with planning and executing the community Thanksgiving dinner this year. Ms. Levisi, her team, the committee, I know folks in our business services committee team, Lourdes, everyone that was involved, Ms. Goodman. Just appreciate the work that was done. Our student volunteers, we had probably, it looked like 50, 100 kids from across the district there to help volunteer in different capacities like every other year. This year is the nice addition with the dance team, mariachi. Mr. Hernandez runs a phenomenal mariachi and band program over there at Tolleson, always has. Definitely want to shout out Mr. Perez, first year hosting over there. Did it very well. I think you connected with everyone pretty good, and it was a great community event. I was glad we were able to host it this year. Looking forward to next year's. Again, with just that, it's the last meeting of the regular year, last meeting of the semester. Just want to thank everybody across the district for all of your work. We've seen a lot of growth and achievement this semester, and certainly from our letter grades. So I just want to thank you all for the hard work you're doing. I hope you enjoy the holiday break, get some time to relax, enjoy with family. So happy holidays, happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you all back in January. And with that, we will move on to.
I'd like to request a 5-minute break, bio break, before we start with the participation.
Go do the comments. I was going to start with the public comments.
5-minute break.
I'm going to go with the public comments. You can go.
I'd rather not miss out, so I'd like to request a 5-minute break, please.
I can do one after.
No, I think we need to take a 5-minute break. It's a bio break, please. I would not like to miss the meeting, so I would like to request a 5-minute break.
All right. I think it's a 3-minute break. Thank you, everybody.
There's a new weapon on the market.
Yeah, it's so powerful, it can take out more than one person at the same time, and you never have to reload. It can get past security.
I heard it was so small that it can fit in your pocket. No way my parents will find out about this.
I heard it could strike at the touch of a button.
Report, don't repost.
Stop social media threats now.
It's never a joke.
benefits of unified sports are social participation and the exposure to new activities, things that they might not have had otherwise had opportunities to participate in.
When we build our equipment and our kids who can't typically participate are able to do something independently, the joy that they get from doing that activity for the first time is incredible.
I didn't really like playing in front of people in the beginning because I thought I wasn't good at it. And then once I got used to playing in front of people, I got a little bit out of my shell. And now I'm comfortable playing with other people.
I learned that I need to be confident.
Confident.
Oh, you want to be more confident?
Yeah.
You learn to be more confident?
Special Olympics has had such an impact on the Arizona community as a whole because we are really focused on community for all. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in, what is your disability, we are really here for everybody, making life happen for everybody, making fun happen for everybody, because sports are fun.
We've been playing like different kind of sports like volleyball, and we played this one game. It's called that. We wear these like uniforms and stuff like that. Like whoever had the ball, you stop, and we throw it to our teammate. Now we just actually legit play badminton day. We stopped and trained super hard that day.
Funnest, most happiest people I've ever seen in my life. It's just every day is just they have that.
All right. Call the regular meeting back to order. As I said before, we're going to start with our public participation section. Just as a note, remember, members of the board will not be able to respond or engage in public comments. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. Our first speaker is Susie Moreno.
Point of order, I just want to correct the comments, public comments. If it is directly addressed to one single board member, that particular board member does have the right to respond.
Go ahead. We'll set the timer for 2 minutes per speaker. Susie Moreno, yes, please.
Thank you for your time. I'm imploring you, board members, to reconsider building a new district office. I'm imploring you to leave it here in Tolleson, where it was established in 1927, the year that my dad was born, the high school that my dad went to. My aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends all attended Tolleson Union High School. I have to tell you, the taxpayers have been taxed. We're taxed. It's got to stop. Where does your spending stop? I've never seen anything that justifies the need for a new building, but there's acreage at the southwest corner of 99th Avenue and Wilbering Way. That would be a cheaper place to build. Moving it to Glendale just doesn't make any sense. As a native Tollesonian, my roots are here. I'm proud of our town. I wish you guys would leave well enough alone. I wonder too why any of you chose to serve on this board. It doesn't make sense to me. Did you attend Tolleson Union High School? Did you grow up in Tolleson? Do you live in Tolleson? Are you simply padding resumes? I don't understand, because your actions are disappointing. You rubber stamp everything that this uncertified superintendent requests, and it doesn't make sense. It's embarrassing. All of the things that have happened here at our high school and town are embarrassing. I've been really proud to be from Tolleson, but when I have coworkers and family and even people out of state saying, hey, what's going on in Tolleson, I have to ask you guys to really think about what you're doing. You can't just rubber stamp everything. It doesn't make sense. I'm all for supporting our teachers. We have the highest paid superintendent in the state, but our scores don't reflect that. We're paying our teachers excellent salaries, and I'm all for our teachers, but our test scores and our proficiency it doesn't appear that all these salaries are making a difference. How do we expect our students to succeed at this rate?
Thank you, Ms. Moreno. Your time is up.
Can I do closing remarks?
I gotta keep it consistent with everybody, sorry. Thank
Quit the spending.
Our next speaker is Adon Morado.
Happy holidays, everybody. Miguel, I want to thank you. for what you did at the last meeting. Know that people are watching and we got your back. As long as you're able to listen to your constituents, we'll be right here with you. Look at what we can do. To everybody else, y'all need to get better. You guys think you're doing something. Who are you speaking to out here? Your constituents have spoken. Stop spending money. We got to get this under control. Obviously, he doesn't know what control is. Miguel, Nájera, Lisa, thank you for voting that way. Continue to listen to the constituents. It's powerful.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cruz Daly.
Good evening. My name is Cruz Daly. I go to Tolleson Union High School. I didn't have anything prepared, but I have a little bit of notes. I just want to talk about the state of Tolleson Union High School. I know some teachers have been coming to these meetings after some of us have spoken, and they've talked about, well, these things don't happen at our schools. These things don't happen at our schools. I was just wondering if there was anything that could happen to maybe help make Tolleson a little bit better. For example, in 2 of my classes, and I've heard of other classes in the older buildings, the brick buildings, 1800, 1300, there were leaks and molds in ceilings. One of my teacher's ceilings collapsed because the ceiling was moldy. A friend had a cough for just weeks on end till the ceiling was fixed. Another thing that I've noticed had been stressing a couple teachers out was the lack of TAs. I haven't confirmed this, but I've heard that other schools in the district, teachers were allowed to have TAs. So I was just wondering why it was at Tolleson Union High School that teachers are not allowed to have teaching assistants to help them with their work, that they've got a lot of, there's no internet in the Performing Arts Center. It's very hard to connect. As someone who has a class in there who needs connection to the internet to do my work and get my grades up, the lack of ease of internet inside the Performing Arts Center has proven difficult for me to work on my stuff. And I noticed that we had introduced a lot of feet of cabling under the school. I'm not exactly sure if that is meant to help it or not, but I'm just wondering because the Performing Arts Center internet's still not very good. And I'd like to thank Mr. Perez for coming talking to students, communicating with us, asking us to come up and let him know what's wrong with the school, or like anything that he can do to help. I'd like to thank Mr. Perez, the principal, for that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Emiliano Horta.
Good afternoon. I'd like to continue similar talking points to what Cruz Daly said. Our school TAs are a much needed thing at our school. I have multiple teachers who on multiple occasions have requested that they have TAs returned to them. They are starting to fall behind on work. They're starting to fall behind on grading because they're doing more than just being teachers. They're being club leaders. They're being coaches. They're being resources for students. And now students can't try and help them out and benefit from the mutualistic relationship of working together to help their teachers and gain valuable working experience. I feel like if we get TAs back in classrooms, it's going to benefit both students and teachers in a very positive way. I'd also suggest that our senior commitment day event at the Cardinal Stadium be moved towards the end of junior year rather than the middle of September of our senior year. It gives more times for students to start prepping college applications. What I noticed at the senior commitment day this year, it was very much oriented towards pushing kids towards the workforce rather than higher education. I feel if we have it towards the end of junior year, we can start pushing higher education opportunities over the summer where students are likely to have the most time. Again, I'd also like to reiterate, Mr. Perez is doing a great job of communicating with students. He's listening to us, he's working with us, and I'd like to suggest to all students and parents to start talking to him more. He's been a great help for all of us, and I'd just like to reiterate that. And to this board, I wish you guys would start listening to students more. I have constantly been attending these meetings, and Mr. Perez is the only one really taking action on my request. So I implore you guys to start listening to your students who are who you represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dave Briggs.
Mr. Chapman, members of the governing board, I'm concerned that in the overall presentation later in the meeting on the GMP for high school number 8, the total cost will indeed exceed $296,719,111. Is the original GMP number 1 for $79 million included in that $296 million? Is the May 27th pre-construction services the award to Chase of $956,000? Is that included in the $296 million? November 18th, Mr. Calles, why did you not show actual numbers on bond capacity, bond expenditures, what each expenditure was for, and then what was the new bond capacity that was there? On January 29th, there was approximately $80 million in surplus. $25 million went to bail out Isaac. What happened to the remaining $55 million? As of November 7th, there were 12,871 active students enrolled, not counting DLA. District capacity, on your own website, is 15,500. That leaves 2629 open seats across the district. Again, the district will not exceed 15,500 till 2030 by its own estimation. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Melissa Grimshaw.
Good evening, President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Calles, Ms. Goodman. First of all, I want to address the whole idea of the capacity of our schools. So those numbers would indicate that every single classroom is used every single class period of every single day. That means that teachers do not have their own classroom. They are teaching from carts. They are carrying class loads. Maybe most of them don't have a prep. They are sharing classrooms. It is absolute chaos. And personally, I have some issues with everything that went on at the last board meeting. On Thursday, I heard the 5 of you talk about your board offices at the new district office. And quite honestly, on behalf of all staff, trying to watch my language on here because I'm quite angry at this. Talking about the size of your office or your desk or your chair is completely tone deaf. I would love a desk or a chair. I don't have one. I stand on concrete for 7 hours a day teaching students, and when I do have my prep period to go ahead, that means if I don't sub, because we have a sub shortage as well, if I don't cover, I'm sitting in a chair that is the same as my student's chair. So my body is not a 14-year-old body that can handle those hard plastic chairs. So the teachers at West Point and the teachers in many of the new buildings, we don't have a desk and a chair to sit at. And quite honestly, I don't feel that you all should have a desk and a chair to sit at till all your teachers do. If you would like an office, or actually if you would like to work in the district, my contract day starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow. You're welcome to join me. I'll sit in the back and I will gladly supervise my 14 and 15-year-old students while you teach, or better yet, you can get your CDL or your ServSafe certification. We have openings in both the transportation and the nutrition services. You're welcome to show up at any time. But perhaps we should rethink the need for our board offices. Thank you.
I'd like to respond to criticism. For the record, 5 members did not talk about offices. I was certainly not one of them. You said 5. I am one of the 5. So I did not request an office. This position as a board member is a voluntary position. There's no reason for offices. There's no reason for extra space. It is voluntary. If you were here more than an employee, you're doing it all wrong. And so my recommendation would be for us to revisit that and eliminate the board offices, because there is no reason for us to be taking up space, valuable space that could be used for other reasons.
Thank you.
I would like
Now-
to make a comment as well in response to the mention of the board member's office. I made that statement because of the fact of the size of the superintendent's office that was in the design, which is above and not necessary. And as a board member, this is an elected position with no pay, no pension, no retirement, no salary, no benefits, no parking space, no desk, no office, no nothing. And I work 40 to 60 to 80 hours in the last 4 months, which we have received for. Now, I resent the statements that are made because those are just vicious lies and to vilify this board that went above and beyond for all of you guys. And that everything that you guys have that is good is because of the 5 board members that is here. We go above and beyond and everything that we have done.
Folks, please, we can't have the back and forth with everybody.
The statement that we made was to emphasize the unnecessary size of the superintendent's office that our taxpayer is going to pay for. What we asked for our board was just using it as an example. It wasn't a request that we want the same size office, even though some of us do work more hours, believe it or not, than the average board members across the state of Arizona. So if we were to ask for anything, that would be among the 5 of us to agree or disagree. Everything comes to this board for approval. So I resent the statement. It's with malice, it's with hurtful statement to vilify something that wasn't even taken seriously.
All right, I'm gonna, folks, please, we can't engage with the public. Apologize. With that, we'll move to our consent agenda item. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. A motion, a second. Let me know when you're ready, Ms. Goodman. Ready? All right, thank you. Vice President Del Palacio.
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Member Sutton. Member Lunanera.
No.
I vote yes. Motion carries. That takes us to our first action discussion items. Our first item is discussion consideration to approve the first revision to the fiscal 2025-2026 budget. Superintendent Cayes.
Yes, President Chapman, members of the board, this was presented earlier during the public hearing. It is now here for the board's action.
Members, any questions or discussion? I will make a motion to approve the revision for the 25-26 budget. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Ready? All right. Vice President Del Palacio.
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Member Sutton. Member Lunanera.
No.
And I vote yes. That motion carries. Our second discussion item is consideration to approve the GMP for the high school number 8, Superintendent Cayes.
Yes, President Chapman, members of the board, we have Bryra, our guest, up here to present on the GMP along with Chase Building Team.
Hello and good evening, President Chapman and governing members of the board. I am Bryra Podan with the LR Group, and today we thought that we would reshare just your overall design progress on your high school number 8. But before we do so, I would love just the opportunity to be able to introduce or have everyone introduce themselves today.
Good evening. I'm Amy Castile, Exceptional Student Services Program Coordinator.
Good evening, President Chapman, members of the board. I'm Julia Herman, your Social Studies Coordinator.
Good evening. I'm Nicole Brash. I'm a teacher at West Point High School.
Good evening, President Chapman, members of the board. My name is Dr. Felipe Baez, and I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning.
Good evening. I'm Courtney Moss. I am the District Grants Coordinator.
Good evening, members of the board. President Chapman, my name is Jason Lemke with DLR Group.
Thank you all. And with that, I would like to just remind yourself of the forefront of every sort of design decision. We keep your vision. And I'd like to just kind of re-go over that. So one of the items that we talked about when we met, we wanted to highlight this Tolleson High School as being the best high school in Arizona. And in order to really achieve that was to be able to really make sure that it embodies the overall cultural elements, it supports innovative design, it's timeless, it supports overall learners. Of course, the other big vision that we kind of saw was overall operations and maintenance. So that meant that the facility needed to be safe and secure. It needed to overall be efficient in its systems, durable in its materials, of course, the photovoltaic canopies. And with that, the big vision was classrooms of our future and, of course, sustainability. We talked a little bit about this as well, and so making sure that your new facility is able to allocate generational value, and the facility would be serving up to 2,100 years. And with that, I'd love to be able to just bring back Julia to talk a little bit more about that.
Earlier this year, I had the honor to take part in 2 focus groups. One focused on discussing the overall vision of a new school, and the other looked at the classrooms and workspaces that were designed after the visioning session. Generational value isn't just about building structures that last. It's about creating learning environments that will serve generations of students while adapting to their evolving needs. In the first section, the architects asked us to envision the school of the future. They brought together teachers, administrators, and instructional specialists and asked, what does teaching look like 20 years from now? What do your students need? And then they listened. And boy, did they get an earful. We had a lot to say. By the second session, the architects showed designs based on our visioning conversations. They asked us to walk through it with them in detail. We provided feedback on everything from wall spaces for displaying student work versus projection spaces, the placement and type of fixed structures in the furniture, to the orientations of the classrooms themselves. The architects took note, asked clarifying questions, and made adjustments. The plans that you see reflect that educator input. In addition to thinking about school design with generational value, I also kept in mind the promises to our community. Last year, OLAS created commitments to drive our everyday work. They are our OLAS CARES commitments. Our CARE acronym stands for C for collaborative partnerships, A for adaptive and innovative pedagogy, R for respect and equity and inclusion, and E for engaging in professional growth. This building was designed with each of these commitments in mind, but I want to focus specifically on 2 areas where the design will directly impact students' ability to deliver on those promises, or our ability to deliver on those promises. And those 2 are the adaptive and innovative instructional practices and engaging in professional growth. First, in order to have adaptive and innovative structures, it needs to start with flexible classrooms, because the architectures listen to what we talked about and how instruction is evolving. This building supports the teaching methods of today while remaining responsive to the instructional innovations we have yet to imagine. The collaborative spaces, technological infrastructure, and reconfigurable classrooms also allow our teachers to implement research-based instructional strategies, from project-based learning to whole group engagement strategies, to small group instruction or collaboration, to even merging classrooms in collaborative spaces located throughout the school. Teachers are able to adjust to the needs of students in the room. When instructional practices evolve, this building should evolve with them. The second part in our CARES is the engaging in professional learning, and this requires more than just scheduling time for teachers to learn together. Because we emphasize the importance of teacher collaboration during the design process, this facility includes professional learning spaces where educators can work together, observe best practices, and refine their craft. This space supports our professional learning teams with spaces for planning, reflecting, and developing curriculum together. When teachers have an environment built for professional growth, student learns. This facility reflects all the OLAS CARES commitments, the collaborative partnerships that it shaped, the adaptive new pedagogies and respect and equity for inclusion in its design, and focus on student success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia. The next, of course, we had your visioning session, but we also spent hundreds of hours doing user group meetings. So that was, again, about 50+ design review meetings for feedback. We did do a community survey where we had 225 responses. We also had participation from over 150 students, teachers, like you kind of heard. And then, of course, we did even more concentrated user group workshops. And to kind of just really highlight a little bit more of that overall experience, I'm going to ask Amy to join me.
Good evening. As the Exceptional Student Services Coordinator, this is my 12th year in the district. It's my 30th year in special education. I have had the opportunity now to meet with architects in 3 different projects on 3 different schools. All have been very good experiences. However, I do want to speak to this one being an exceptional experience. It started even before the plans were drawn. We met, backtrack a little bit, I work with the CARES program. That's the program that meets the needs for our most significantly impaired students. And I've done that for 30 years. And when we met with this team, it wasn't just a leadership team saying, come on in and help us design. They brought in teachers, related service providers, instructional assistants, the people that are in the trenches every day working with these students to know what they need to meet their health needs, their safety needs, as well as improving their learning. And when we met, they didn't come in and say, oh, this is what we've done in the past. They said, what do you need? What do your students need in your classrooms? And let us help design that. They listened for hours because we have the most passionate special education staff in Tolleson Union High School District. And they, to the smallest little detail, they listened. And then the next meeting, they brought forward plans, and everything we asked for, they put in there, down to quiet spaces for students if they're feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated. Where should we hang the swing so that it's a safe place in the classroom so that our students, adaptive seating, where could we put, we have wheelchairs lined up outside. We now could possibly have an indoor place to put our wheelchairs so they're not out in the sun, they're not exposed to rain, so that when our students get transferred back in to them, they're comfortable, they're back in their safe place. We met, I was beyond floored. There were the plans, and they had their pens, and they were writing all over it. Everything we said, they're writing all over it. We can do that. We can make that happen. We can lower this wall. Do you want this wall to be visible so that when a student is resting behind this wall, you can see them at all times, and we're not just having to walk over and check on them? Absolutely. They put all of those things into place. So it was absolutely a tremendous positive experience, not about the building. It was always about the students and what the staff need in order to do their job so our students can be safe, healthy, and learn. And that was, out of my 3 experiences, the main focus. And it was absolutely incredible. I want to close with the fact that I also oversee our unified programming. And I want to thank all of you guys for the support that you have provided that unified programming. And in looking at the athletic facility, the opportunities that it's going to allow our unified programs to grow, host multi-district events, allow all of our students to have those experiences, not just the high-functioning ones, but our wheelchair-bound students, and all of those needs be met. It will be incredible to provide that for our students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. And with that, not only did we spend hundreds of hours with your overall staff, we also engaged with your students. So we did a couple of activities with them. The first one was a photo voice, which basically just kind of asks our students, we asked students from La Jolla and West Point to take photographs of spaces where they felt that they would belong and do not belong. And then the other activity that we did with them was a collage. And so La Jolla and West Point also participated in that. And these are some of the results from those meetings. So here you're seeing the photo boys belong. So again, photos from students from La Jolla and West Point. And so they're highlighting things about overall school pride. They're really showcasing courtyard spaces, library spaces, so places where they love going and where they interact with their overall friends and staff. We also talked about places where they didn't feel that they belong. And so they talked about just the overcrowding at the stairs at West Point. The restrooms was also a really high level stuff. The parking, and then as well as just like not maybe seeing enough school pride throughout. Power was also a really large topic as well that we heard from our students. The collage that we did with them was the same group of students, and so this time we asked them to really envision what their typical classroom, their overall school would have, and we heard lots of feedback on being able to provide neutral colors, yet homey feel, yet vibrant, that celebrated overall school pride. The students really wanted just a flexibility in their classrooms. They wanted to engage in their overall sort of CTE, culinary programs, and so we brought that, and we have used student feedback, your staff feedback, your overall visionary goals to just kind of help align and drive our overall sort of design process here. Of course, with that, we know that this is more than just a school. It is most definitely a community investment. So piggybacking on all of the feedback we heard, we know that your school needs to be future ready for learning environments. It needs to be able to support different career pathways. And of course, a lot of, athletics is really important here. So we've been able to highlight through our overall design and just recognize that this is definitely a community hub. It represents overall district pride, and then of course it'll serve as an economic engine. With that, I'd like to pass it over to Jason, who will reshare again a couple of the renderings now with teacher and student feedback.
Thank you, Bryra. Pleased to present tonight's progress. This is information that we presented in the last several weeks as well, so it's nice to have additional voices with us this evening to help add characterizations to what the spaces could embody for your teachers and your students. I wanted to share a little bit of context around some of the plan itself and how the building works. I apologize if the text on the right side of the screen is a little bit cut off. At the very bottom right corner, you see the first floor plan and our campus life, our outdoor learning opportunities. We'll show you some images of those things in just a few minutes as well. As the image goes up on the right side, it's our second floor plan, and that's the complete circle, the ring, that allows students to get all around campus inside and really activate their learning with collaboration spaces. You'll see opportunities for the exceptional students there in green on both the first floor and the second floor, and so taking the comments and feedback to very specialized opportunities for those students, as well as outdoor learning opportunities and gardens and those sorts of things for those students to explore as a part of a unified solution. And then as we go up one more level, on the very top right of the screen, you'll see the third floor. And that's more classroom space, more collaborative space, some teacher resource space, and those sorts of things. On the left side of the screen is our gymnasium, our physical education facility. And you can see it's also 2 levels. We have a very tall competition gym, and that's the upper level. And then on the first floor, you'll see things like sports medicine and health classrooms and strength training facilities and locker rooms and all those kinds of things that support a holistic approach to physical education and wellness. As we look at the main entrance, this is where your students and teachers and community will be welcomed inside. So we've taken into consideration a lot of feedback with regard to how the design from both the board's perspective as well as all the users and the students, what they want to see in the facility. And what you see here tonight is a visualization of what the current design is. It doesn't mean that we're done with design or all the decisions have been made. It just means that we've reached a point in the process where we can show images just like this to help you all see what that vision might mean. One of the examples of the core classrooms you see on screen, talk about the flexible furniture, those sorts of things. This is one example. You have 62 classrooms in your building, so plenty of opportunity for variety of color. That was a comment that we received in one of our previous presentations. Looking at different ways to add those warm tones for students that they asked for, opportunities for natural tones. You'll see wood on the furniture, all kinds of writing surfaces and places for collaboration. Those tables and chairs are really flexible opportunities for learning. Some of our collaborative spaces. So we have a few slides that talk through our collaborative spaces, and Nicole's going to join me in just a minute. This one happens to be just above that main entrance image you saw just a few slides ago. Places for students and teachers alike in academic as well as professional development opportunities in the collaboration spaces. Another one here on the opposite end of the building where you get to see how the floors start to connect and really create opportunities for community, for students to feel connected to one another as they work through campus. So we'll zoom in a little bit to the rendering in the back there, and you'll see another opportunity here for students and faculty alike for their teaching and learning as well as professional development. Nicole?
So, as a teacher who has served on 2 campuses in this district, can see firsthand how the intentional school design of this new school can really transform teaching and learning. That is, of course, these classrooms are now going to be equipped with flexible seating, greater access to technology, and student-centered resources, which allow educators to better meet the needs of their diverse learners in their classrooms. By incorporating these tools and innovations of today, this new school embraces the flexibility not only through its furniture, but also through its overall layout. This design encourages teachers to rethink traditional practices. I know that when I moved from traditional seating to now more flexible seating, such as what we have at West Point, I had to rethink the way that my classroom was going to function on a daily basis, which now allows teachers to adopt more collaborative and imaginative approaches to instruction. The expanded collaboration spaces are probably what I'm most excited about in this new school. They represent one of the most significant improvements compared to campuses like West Point, where we do have those collaboration spaces that were a new development, but they don't currently meet all of the needs for our students. Currently, one of our challenges on our campus is the shortage of appropriate meeting areas for students, clubs, and small group works to fit diverse sizes of groups of students. This new school's variety of collaboration rooms directly addresses this need and this issue. Many of the smaller clubs that struggle to find a space would now have dedicated areas that meet their needs, freeing up larger event spaces for bigger classes and school-wide activities. Beyond clubs, these spaces also offer students additional places to study, to feel involved, meet with their friends, and work together throughout the school day, which ultimately supports a more engaged and connected teaching and learning community.
Thank you very much. As we continue envisioning what campus could look like, the south side of campus is envisioned as what we're calling Performance Plaza right now. It is the sort of the south gateway to campus. It allows students to see opportunities in this image of CTE programs like automotive. Just off to the left-hand side off screen is where the Performing Arts Center would be, and allowing a sort of a play on performance. Obviously, the arts are as important as the CTE programs like automotive that you see in the image here. Let's go inside automotive and talk about a few different CTE spaces. We haven't conceptualized it visually for you this evening all of the CTE spaces, but we do have a few examples to share with you tonight. And so automotive is one of them. And so just in the previous image, I'll just go back quickly. If you look in that blue building there, there's 5 doors. We're going to step inside that blue building. Here is that image. And so students have the opportunity to not only work on internal combustion engines, but also EVs and all sorts of things, expanding partnerships in new and profound ways in this program. This is a marketing classroom, and you can see a hands-on applied project learning space. And so obviously what's in the foreground is that applied learning opportunity. In this case, we're showing a screen printing. You'll see some students working in the back. And really, this lab space is immediately adjacent to the art space. And we think about the relationship between the curriculum and the opportunities that adjacency could afford in the future. Another example, this one is television and film as well as podcasting. And so this is an opportunity for students to express themselves through digital arts. I'd like to invite Dr. Baez up to talk. Thank you, Board President Chapman, members of the board. Um, Thank you for this opportunity to give some highlights. I'll be highlighting some of these slides that Jason just went over with career and technical education learning spaces that the new high school will feature. Unfortunately, Mr. Jorge Moreno, our CTE director, can't be here tonight. However, he has shared some insights with me to share with you. He was involved in the high school design process and provided extensive feedback on the CTE spaces that you saw on these slides. So this slide here shows a performance plaza, and you will see a race cars that capture our attention and symbolize the exciting career opportunities for our students. Through our partnership with Phoenix Raceway, we aim to align classroom learning with real-world industry pathways. This initiative connects students to emerging workforce opportunities, making education both engaging and relevant. On this slide, you will see the new automotive program instructional environment designed with careful attention to operational details, ensuring space for both classroom and hands-on learning. The space will include an electric vehicle, EV bay, and workspace, which introduces students to electric vehicle technology, preparing them for the future of automotive careers in the West Valley. This slide features a marketing program space, which offers students practical business experience through a student-based enterprise model. Students will create marketing materials, manage operations, and gain hands-on skills in screen printing, budgeting, and profit analysis, preparing them for real-world success in marketing and business. And this slide illustrates a television and film program space. It will showcase a green screen setup and professional-grade equipment for students to learn video production, editing, and broadcasting. Students will gain hands-on experience by running switchboards, managing multi-camera setups, and producing school-wide broadcasts and community stories. This program equips students with real-world skills to elevate communication and storytelling across school and community. We know that these CTE spaces and opportunities will greatly benefit our students. Thank you. Thank you. Just a few more here tonight. So next we're going to talk about some of our dining experiences and outdoor spaces, campus life. And so this courtyard space that you see is just the first part. And so on the right side of the screen, you'll see an outdoor dining facility that's under a photovoltaic canopy, embracing the district's desire for an energy neutral future. We're going to take a step inside in just a second. But first, I want to talk about the outdoor learning and campus life and ask Courtney to join.
Thank you. Good evening, President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Calles, and Ms. Goodman. I'm Courtney Moss. I'm a former school administrator here in the Tolleson Union High School District, and I am currently the district's grants coordinator, which means I oversee all of our after-school programs run through our 21st Century Grant. I just want to briefly affirm how critical this new high school design is for our students' safety and supervision. One of the things that I noticed most about this design is that it is very visible. When I was also in some of these planning meetings with the architect group, we gave feedback about pockets of space. We gave feedback about walls that were blocking clear sight lines, and they immediately understood what we were talking about and made those adjustments. It was very important to us that we have a safe school. This is one of our top priorities as a district, and it is really important to me as an administrator, and again, as a someone who oversees our after-school programs, that we have a safe space. Earlier in the presentation, in the student photo voice collage, students identified areas of their schools that made them uncomfortable, specifically calling attention to sneaky spots on campus and dark enclosed areas that caused them to avoid certain buildings on campus. This proposed design directly responds to those concerns. By eliminating these hidden spaces and creating clear, open sight lines, the layout supports staff in maintaining consistent, proactive supervision. Additionally, the reduced number of entry points significantly strengthens campus security. Fewer access points allow for more controlled monitoring and faster responses when needed. That is an essential component of keeping students safe throughout the day. In addition, all of these classrooms that we're adding in, all of these CTE programs, all of this extra space, those collaborative spaces, those can be used for our after-school programs. Right now at several of our campuses, we have students who cannot get into culinary because there's not enough space in the classrooms during the school day. We offer culinary as an after-school program. The students may not be getting credit, but they are learning the skills that they need that they can take into the workforce. That is our main goal as a 21st century program, is to give our students the skills that they need to be successful. Thank you for the opportunity to share my perspective and for your thoughtful consideration of these factors.
Thank you. So we'll highlight a couple of more opportunities with dining specifically. And to preview, I don't have any other distinguished guests here this evening to talk about these things, but there is a video that was prepared by several of the students who did participate in the early planning process, which we'll play for you in just a moment after we talk about these next two slides, and they're going to highlight the dining experience as well. So I showed earlier on the outdoor dining space that's just off to the right side in the screen. You can make out the blue building in the window that's right outside the door. When we step inside to the first level dining, you'll see a variety of seating and lots of opportunities for students to gather, gather for food as well as after food service hours for other academic purposes, clubs, and so on and so forth. This is just our first level of dining. We're going to follow that student up the stairs on the left side of the image and go to this view on our second level dining. Here you see at the top wonderful views outside of the mountains to the south, as well as plenty of opportunity for food service on the interior. And I'll point out in the very back of the image, it may be a little hard to distinguish, is also some additional outdoor dining on the second floor, right immediately adjacent to this dining facility that we're standing in today. If you'll recall, we have this concept called River Nexus, which the board selected in the spring. And so you'll see in the ceiling, we have this wonderful, again, warm feature where we're embodying the flow of a river. And the little lighted areas there are representative of the stones at the bottom of a riverbed. And so how the water would move around the stones. And so really the biophilic nature of the space, the warm tones, the accent colors illustrated, as well as opportunities for additional accent colors, provide a vibrant space for students. And so now, before we get to any questions or discussion, I'd like to have the video played of the students. They're going to share both their experience during the design process itself and then reactions to the design as it stands today.
Hi, I'm Sarah Clausen, Public Relations and Marketing Specialist for the district. I am here at West Point High School with several students who participated in a focus group to help the architects learn what public relations and marketing specialist for the district. I am here at West Point High School with several students who participated in a focus group to help the architects learn what public relations and marketing specialist for the district. Okay, so when you guys met, this was last spring. Everyone was a sophomore at that point. Everyone is a West Point student because this is what public relations and marketing that was built for our district. Okay, so when you guys met, this was last spring. Things that you like about this school and what you would like to see brought into the next design for Ada High School. If you can, I want to try to think back about what were some of the things you like about this key features that were important to you to see brought into the next Ada High School. If you can, I want to try to think back about I really like how in the cafeteria there was so many features that were important to you to see and I really like
Something I really enjoy about West Point is is all the buildings are very close to each other, so it makes passing periods very easy, and you're not really gonna get lost here and there. And I really enjoy that about our school. It makes it easy to get around and just really know your pace when you're walking out of class. Very easy, and you're not really gonna get lost.
The only thing I like about high school is that
Something in our school it makes it
you don't,
easy to get
there's windows everywhere, so the sunlight comes in and then like you get to see outside. And most schools they don't have windows like this, so it's like you can see what's going on inside. There's windows everywhere.
What I like about West Point is that it is, even though it is a big school with lots of shades and natural light, it is an inside school for our weather because here in Arizona it gets really hot. So I really like that we're inside the hallways that are like kept at like a good temperature for us, and it makes focusing during school a lot easier.
Something I like about West Point is how we have the collaboration rooms, like one of these that we're in right now, because we get to, if we're doing projects or anything in class, we can go to those classrooms and like just work on it on our own. Like if we have to record a video, there's no background in it.
Okay. So I know that a lot of you just now have spoken about the outside of the campus. What about the interior spaces? How are they set up for your learning? And then how, like, what of those elements do you want to see in High School 8?
I think like the Innovation Center has a very open space, and like in our leadership classrooms or in like classrooms that are just more bigger in general, I feel like that's a better environment for us because it is a big school with a lot of the classes being filled with more to like 30 kids. So I think that an organized space, but also very spacious, is what keeps like the environment thriving.
Like Susanna was saying, how like the classrooms are like filled, but they're also like spacious enough where we can fit up to the students. So I really hope in other schools that's what they stick with, because with the classrooms they're big enough where we can still walk around and not step on each other. So
Something I really enjoy about the classrooms is their tables they're large enough for collaborative work. And I feel like that's very important here in high school because you're obviously making a lot of projects and you have to communicate with others. So definitely making a space big and being able to collaborate is huge at high school.
What I like about the inside of our school is, to piggyback off of Susanna and Natalie, I really like the Innovation Center, how it's like there's a lot of different seats to sit at. So like if presentators come and like present things, it's like really nice place to present because it shows kind of like the nice in building and stuff like that. So I really like that about our school and hope to see that in other schools as well.
So you guys just saw a first look at every single level of this proposed new high school design. What do you think?
I like all the like outside light, how there's a lot of windows, so it's like a lot of natural light. And I like how it's like all just one building, so like it's not that hard to get to classes. Like it's easier not to get lost.
Yeah, going off of that, I really love the circular build because I feel like it's just like one way around. And I really like that there's like the automotives part because I feel like here at school, there's in the parking lot, we always have like, basically, I'd like to say like little car meets because there's a whole bunch of cars out there and they like showing it off. And I feel like that's part of our school spirit, really. And I feel like a school like this would really encourage them to actually put that potential that they have to something bigger.
So currently only Tolleson campus has an automotive CTE program, so this would be the second one in the district. But that's a really cool idea that it could have car shows and car clubs. And so those who may not want to join the CTE program could still have an interest in cars and collaborate that way. Yeah, that's cool.
I think the one thing that I really liked was the CTE film and then the media, because I'm currently in CTE, and that's like the one thing that I would really appreciate is like the sound booth and everything, because we need that at West Point, and that was really fun to watch or look at. And then I think just like this, like how Susie was saying, the circular build, because it's a one-way go, no one gets stuck at each other, and then the one building, so we don't have to walk upstairs and then miss class and stuff.
I'm really impressed by the foundation of how everything is placed. I really like how the dining, there's multiple dining, so kids have like all that free space and like it's out in the open, so it feels like this like better, and then you have all this like free space to be able to like walk around and you're still going to be in the same place without having to move so much.
I really like it. It's really, really pretty. I really like the interior of the whole setup. Especially my favorite part was like the green room where you could say like the morning announcement or that. That's something I really like because I feel like it shows like student involvement, and I feel like that's something I wish we had here at West Point. How we could say the announcements and like see like everyone like just watching the announcements together. I feel like that's really nice as a school, and overall I really like it. It's very modern, I feel like, so
Was there anything in the actual instruction rooms, the classrooms, that stood out as a positive, or do you have any suggestions on how to enhance those differently?
For the classrooms, I really liked how it was spacious, but the one thing I would say is having more tables so more students could be in the classroom. But I think like the room itself is really spacious, so like you can like still work and have group projects and stuff, and that's the one thing I liked. And then the court, how there was so much space, so then you can still do that in one place.
Yeah, going off of that, I believe like sometimes here, our classes, because there's a lot of us on campus, our classes may be compressed together, and with the class that's spacious, it'd be easier for our minds to have focus and keep concentrated without having to worry about like if our stuff is gonna be trampled on or if our stuff is like in somebody else's way.
I agree with like the big classrooms, and I also like how I think it was like in like a just like a hallway where they had like a lot of tables to collaborate. Like I think that's really cool for like a newer school. So like a lot of like involvement with students like collaborating with one another, like a lot of different tables.
Do you have any concerns about safety?
I think that maybe like a safety thing would be maybe it says I feel like the stairs are a little small, or maybe it's just because of the picture. Because like with us in passing periods, you have to wait like for example 900 and 300, they're like the most filled classes. So you have to wait for everyone to come down so you can go up. Or like if you have to go up like fast while everyone is still going down, like yeah, there's just like one person while it's like 5, 7 people like going down.
In the outside of the school, we did see like other forms of entry, like on the stairs. And I like to see that, but I feel like in the cafeteria, like on the first to second dining hall, that staircase might be like a little slim. But I feel like if it's reinforced well, it should be fine.
Are the windows or like the doors, are they like bulletproof? Are they?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. We have your safety in mind.
That's one of my biggest safety.
I think other than that,
Any final thoughts?
I do have a question. Like that orange and blue, like
The
upper
mural.
part, is there a space on top to walk in, or is that just like a mirror? Because I can't really tell.
Yeah, because there's like a
I think that's just a portrayal of sunlight.
Okay.
And it does look like there's an
Like
overhang
windows,
to help with shade because it's an outdoor eating area.
Oh, okay.
I guess like the one thing I really like about the center is how spacious it is. Like for our courtyard it is also spacious, but it can be also filled because of how many students we have in one lunch. And I feel like with the center, you can have more space, and in the top you also have more eating places. So like with us, we like run out of like tables, so then some people have to eat on the grass, and I think that's the one thing that's really cool about the architect is how they put more seatings on top.
Okay. And then just kind of a final wrap up. Do you feel that the focus group, the suggestions that you made for this high school is reflected in this design?
I would say yes, it is, because they took in accountability that not just um our need for our academic classes, but also our need for like socialism, because for a lot of students at school, there's only strictly one or two places to go to, which is school and home. So I feel like school should be a really safe environment for your kids to have that social thrivement. And I feel like this really depicts it because with that open space, it's like a refreshment than a cramped up compressed space.
I agree with Susanna. Like she said, like there's a lot of ways that you can like collaborate with people, and like also they incorporated like things that students like the automobile things and the photography and all of that. Like a lot of students really like that, so it's like really good for students. Like they took accountability and what people like.
So do you have any name suggestions for this next high school? What would you call it? What would you be proud of going to this high school?
This school is giving like very like much light and like powerless. So I would say something like maybe like sunflower. I'm not sure.
See that though. With,
Something
like, the
positive,
outside,
yes.
yeah.
Something positive and cute, definitely.
You know, this just might be a one shot, but I would like call it something with like bees, like the the hornets, because like the colors are blue and yellow.
They might be.
So like the hornets or like the bees, you know, the mascot be a bee, you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
A cute little bumblebee. Any other thoughts on what the school could be called?
Going back like to the bee part, I think like cute like bumblebees or like I don't know, that'd be butterflies.
Bumblebees do have a connection with the cars if you've seen
Oh,
Transformers.
that's true. That's true.
So if we're throwing ideas out there, might as well.
You guys could be the Transformers because you got the automotive center. So
Like you said, like I think maybe like a Transformers thing, like a bee and a car or something like that would be cool. And like have designs of like the Transformers movies. That'd be
like
cool.
what are those things called? It's like the turning wheel, like on the
steering wheel?
No, it's like no, it's like the gear, like a bee with a gear. Like that might be something for like design.
definitely some ideas. Thank you guys again so much. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
President Chapman, members of the governing board, we are continuing to just incorporate your overall design feedback. And of course, we are just very excited about the possibilities and the opportunities for your brand new high school. Thank you.
Good evening, President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Cayes. We're here to present the guaranteed maximum price for high school number 8. Thank you so much for having us here this evening. It's a pleasure to present this to you. It's really hard to follow those very impressive young ladies. That was a really fun little video. So the guaranteed maximum price is for the complete construction of the comprehensive high school. Just to go over the number that is in the board documents, that's $296,719,111. That is for everything that you see in the renderings, everything that we've seen in site plans. It's for the academics. It's for all of those great spaces. It's for the CTE space. It's for the performing arts. It's for the art center. It's for the outdoor fields, and it's for basically everything that you've seen to date. The main purpose to submit a full GMP today is to hit the ground running. We have a significant undertaking to be able to build a high school and have it open by 2027. That would be the fall of 2027, and that would be for the first 2 years, the freshman and sophomore class. So the game plan is to order and secure materials, lock in material pricing, avoid escalation. This market is very wild. The things that you see happening nowadays have escalation going up. We've seen 8% escalation over the last 5 years. If you look at the total GMP, that could be $8 million for every $100,000. We're talking $20 million per year on the $300 million guaranteed maximum price. So The other purpose of a full GMP is really to start securing trade partners and trade contractors to be able to start working on the project and start planning, securing very to secure labor, trades, and really plan with these individuals and get started. The dirt work, which was where you see the very large equipment, that would start in early February of next year. And that's why we want to do a full GMP, because we are looking at hiring all these contractors and getting started. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to the board to see if there's any questions regarding the packet that we submitted.
Just want to thank everybody for their presentations and for putting the student video together. Sounds like they'd like us also to commit to some licensing playing with the Transformers Universal Studio. So I guess that'll be something for us to look into. I'm not opposed to that. So again, thank you all. Questions from board members? Member Lunanera?
Thank you. Can you remind me, what is the total square footage that we're looking for school number 8?
It's just under 400,000 square feet.
And so we initially started at 220 million, and we're now sitting at 297 million. Are you able to speak to the increase, why we have increased, and if there's anything we can do to lower that cost?
So the difference between the original budget that we're contracted to is purely square footage. So if you look at the amount of square footage that was in the original, basically the adequacy guidelines provided by the state, it's 312,500 square feet. Also, some of the other components of the difference in those budgets are increased collaboration areas. So as our partners on this project, DLR, and the young ladies discussed earlier, there's a lot of collaboration space, circulation areas. It's really state of the art in terms of a campus that you see nowadays. The other thing is the aesthetics. There's significant aesthetics. This is really a timeless high school. It is really pushing the envelope, and it's future forward. And so the aesthetics are a very large percentage of that. Performing arts space, CTE. CTE is not a typical curriculum that is included in allowable square footage that is provided by the state. So that adds a significant amount of money to the project, but it's very important. It's really what we need to be planning for our young students and people nowadays to be able to get in the workforce and be college and career ready.
Thank you for that. I guess my concern is around the word aesthetics, right? Like, we are putting a lot of money into making the building look beautiful, which I think we should, but I do feel that it is a huge injustice to our other schools. We just had a speaker share that they don't have desks and chairs at another school at West Point. We just had somebody talk about Tolleson, student talking about Tolleson having collapsing ceilings and gyms that leak that can't be used. And so when we are looking at our fiduciary duty, I find it backwards that we are pouring all this money into this school when we have failed our other schools, and the upkeep on those. So that is my concern. The other thing, I don't know that we have the permits yet, right? So you're saying that we need this upfront now so that we can start preparing to move dirt in early February or so, or hit the ground running. How soon do we anticipate having permits to even begin to put a shovel in the ground?
So, excellent point. We've been working with the city of Avondale for over a year now, discussing basically a fast track permit process. We actually built the last high school with you in Avondale. And what we're able to do is basically break out the permitting process into different pieces of the puzzle. The biggest piece of the puzzle up front is doing the over excavation of the earth. That is we call it mass grading. That's why I got into construction, because I saw those big pieces of equipment out there and it excited me. And so there's a big process of just mobilizing those to the site. So we get those out to the site. The city is allowing us to move very quickly on that portion of the process. Then the next piece of the process is what we call structural foundation permits. And so we're allowed to be able to take those foundations up to grade and pour those slabs. And then also a separate permit for utilities. These are all permits that we've already discussed, and the timing works out very well based on where we're at, but we do need to get started.
We don't have a date for permits.
The date for permits would be in February of 2026. That would be the foundation only, or the mass grading permit.
And I guess my question, and this is more for a board discussion, whether there's any way that we can reduce costs, given that our other buildings in our district are in need of some TLC as well. I think that's all that I have for you for now, but I do have a question for DLR when the time is appropriate. Thank you. For DLR, I saw that you had a community survey listed, and I guess I just curious to know what that survey process looked like, who the survey went out to, how we had such a low number. I mean, when we look at how big our district is, square footage-wise, mile-wise, 225 community surveys seems very small in my background as a researcher opinion.
Yes, of course, Governing Board Member Dr. Luna Najera. So that community survey was actually done really early in the design process, and at the time we were working with Mr. Hicks to try to get as much engagement through posts. And so what we did is we worked with district leadership to really ask the community questions about what is innovative design. We showed them photographs of what classroom types they were excited about. And so we asked district leadership to share out as much as possible. I understand that the public relations team got involved. And so that community went through probably about 3 weeks or so in collecting information. And so we really tried to just put it out as much as we can, but we let district leadership kind of help handle. And we just really, in the content, was just asking classroom, showing imagery of just spaces that students and overall community members wanted to see in their brand new high school.
Thank you for that. So then I guess my question would be for administration. How was the community determined to be the community? And was this done through Facebook? Was it done through emails? Was this in English and in Spanish? Like, what was the target audience, and how did we proceed on that?
I have Joseph in the audience. Joseph, did you work with Ken when he was pushing it out? Go ahead,
Can you please come to the
podium,
mic? Yeah.
Joseph.
President Chapman, members of the governing board. So yes, at the beginning it seems like ancient history now, but it was gone out through Facebook, social media was out there. So that is how we got the word out. Mm-hmm.
And we also have Dr. Lagunas Quatley could share her experiences of when we reach out to families. 225, how does that compare when you're reaching out for grants purposes or anything else, and we're trying to get community feedback and pushing things out to the whole community?
Yeah, good evening, President Chapman, board members. So we try to send out communication to our families to participate. The last survey that we sent out to our families was with Hanover. So Hanover did our JEDI review, and it was difficult to share out the information and then get feedback. We share it in Spanish, we share it in English. We also had an opportunity to have in-person feedback from our families. And unfortunately, we were able to only get maybe just a couple of families to come in to provide feedback. And it's something that we try to improve on, but it's always difficult. So I also wanted to share that when we did the Family Resource Center surveys, or when we tried to get feedback from our families, we also invited them. We knew that we had to go to them. So when there was already events happening, like We Grad, we went to those events to get feedback. So unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to get that feedback, but we try different modes and modalities, and we'll continue to do that.
So I do believe that that is part of our strategic plan is the community engagement, and I would really like us to focus on that because it's hard for us to say that we engage the community when we only had 225 people answer on Facebook, and it wasn't verified that they are part of the community because Facebook is kind of open to everybody. And so I think that's where I have a little bit of reservation on how much the community actually participated in. If I could, just a question, I know you shared the space, the square footage, the total square footage. How much of the square footage is classroom space?
That's kind of an open-ended question. I'm going to defer to the architect.
So we've got about 350,000, Dr. Luna Najera, but to say specific classrooms, we have 62 classrooms, and so the total square footage that we're aiming for that is anywhere around 900 to 925 square feet.
Thank you for that. And then I did notice when we were going through the presentation, I know there's a great slide on showing the outdoor space. We live in the desert. I think I'm the only person on this dais who has worked on 5 different high school campuses as part of my career, and I can tell you that space and shade is very important. And I saw a lot of open spaces with lack of shade, and so. Right now, we're currently working on mitigating some of those shade issues for our current campuses, and we're kind of taking care of it on the back end. So curious to know if there's a way that we can address some of that on the front end so we don't have to then come back and then shade in the future.
To qualify some of the shade that we have provided so far, and there's always room for more. We have more than 80,000 square feet of shaded space within the campus proper, the academic ring proper. That would exclude parking lot covers and other areas outside of the sort of the main ring of campus, but 80,000 square feet of exterior shade.
Okay, and that includes like the area where the students would be congregating, the outdoor spaces?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Member Song.
Can you circle back to me?
Member Ortega Romero.
Yeah, I have to say that in the video that was shared, I really do appreciate the students' feedback because they're the ones that are actually going to experience this school. And when West Point was being built, I was about their age, and a lot of what they enjoyed off of the feedback that they provided was feedback that as students we provided to the administration. So part of that was shade. A few years ago, La Jolla didn't have shade. There was very limited space. So to Dr. Luna's point, I think I would like to see more shade because it does get hot, especially when you're walking through passing periods. Specifically to the slide 23, outdoor learning and campus life, I would just like to know, I see some shaded areas up top with some chairs and tables. Is that designated for lunch or school use?
It's dedicated for campus use. So
Okay.
if I understand that at least on one of your campuses today, you allow students to eat wherever they so choose throughout their lunch period. So that would be basically open seating for food or academic purpose, whatever the case might be.
Awesome. And then for the, it was, let's see, like the collaborative learning areas, are those meant for, let's say a teacher wants to teach there for the day? Is that meant for that? Okay. I see. Thank you.
It isn't assigned to a specific subject matter or individual, it's collective use. And to the question earlier about square footage and the collaborative spaces, we have around 14,000 square feet of collaboration space inside of the current design.
Yeah, I will say, the design of the school is fantastic in my opinion. You know, through my like just going to college, I think it gives a college vibe. You know, and I think that a lot of students will benefit off of that because you know earlier we heard from a student that said that you know we're not investing in academics like we are in CTE when it comes to the career development day. And I think that this will really help with bringing that next level of what to expect. So that transition isn't as tough or it's, you know, slightly easier or encouraging. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Sun. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just start off by saying that I'm not sure. It's very hard to predict what the future of learning spaces will look like 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, heck, even to the year 2100. But I could bet you it would look something similar to what was presented tonight. What I saw here was innovative. Never seen anything like this in terms of a comprehensive high school with this type of design. And so I want to first thank our staff who took their time to sit on the feedback and work with our partners. And I want to thank the partners because you had one of our staff members come up here and talk about how they were treated. That says a lot about your business and who we do business with and how you treat our staff. So I'm very pleased to hear that. I'm excited to hear about all the spaces that are going to be, for lack of a better word, equitable and usable for all students, including our unified. Sports students are exceptional students. I mean, this is truly a campus for everyone. The collaboration space I love. The fact that it's energy neutral, you mentioned that. I mean, you want to talk about cost savings over the life of the building, it's energy neutral. I mean, a lot of costs go into electric and whatnot and powering the building, so this kind of, again, energy neutral. And I agree with what the kids said, what the students said in the video. They answered a lot of questions, they were very honest, they didn't seem like they were under duress. It was a very candid conversation. And that's what we need. We need our kids coming up and giving candid conversation and sharing what's working and what's not working and then tweaking and adjust from there. Because as it was mentioned by my fellow board members, they are the end user. The end user should always have, of course, their opinion valued. And then from there, changes be implemented. I was disheartened, though, to hear one of our students mention safety. It's a damn shame, excuse my language, it's a shame that our kids have to ask if something's bulletproof or not when they come to school. So that was disheartening. That hurts. Because that means our kids at the back of our mind are always thinking about what if something happens on my campus. So that was, and I know we're doing all we can. I know we're gonna have the best in terms of safety, but that's a continuing conversation that I know that will be had. You know, I'm not one to skimp out on students' needs and learning. And so I feel like this project that was presented, and I know the design conversations are still happening, but what I saw here tonight, I think we're on to a great start. The career technical education programs, I mean, the podcast studios, the broadcasting, the automotive, and not just traditional automotive, but the diversity in EVs and whatever high performance vehicles. And then it was kind of cool to hear the students also mention that that's what they want. They wish they had more of that. So we know we're on the right track there. And so I appreciate all the engagement and feedback. And I mean, this is a truly innovative space, doing something different. I think this is obviously going to be a jewel and a standard for moving forward in our district. And so I want the conversation to be, yes, we can have this nice thing and we can fix the other things. I don't think it has to be an and or we choose to have nice things and not to fix or things that need some love. I think it should be, we can do both. And I think by us voting to not do the enclosed field house that was projected to be 80 million, as you stated.
Right.
I think with the new projection, you said it was 18 now million.
That's correct.
That's a savings of what? How many my math? 62
Yes.
million dollars that we're saving by not doing a covered field house. So right there, we're already making a huge leap in terms of being what I consider to be fiscal responsible with our dollars, even though I think a field house would be cool. It was mentioned here, a lot of the heat. Well, doesn't a field house kind of make sense to deal with that? But I get it. It's expensive, and that could be looked at down the line. That could be another project for another time. But we voted together to not do that, and we saved $62 million in that by doing away with that. to accommodate, I think, all the other learning and academic spaces, right? And environments that will inspire learning. And so that's what I'm excited about. I wish I had a school like this, back in the day, and I'm sure some of our students wish that they could do it. And that's just what it is, right? It's the future of learning. And our staff, right? I'm sure they want to go to a space that is high quality, right? I think our students deserve it, staff, our community, the West Valley deserves it. And so, again, very pleased to see the direction we're heading.
Thank you. Member Swan.
I just want to touch notes on the indoor stadium. I think that's still up for discussion. So we're going to do a work study on that to, reformat. So let's just put that on hold. And I don't think we should be speaking, on behalf for the entire board. As far as equity goes with the costs of the new school, just, in the recent years, one of our biggest renovation was on our most senior campus, and that was Tolleson. And that was under the previous board leadership to have that move forward. And, as we get more approval for funding in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we are hoping that all campuses will reach to a level of equity across the board. This high school, for those of you that are not aware, is actually a sister design of my high school. And as the designers all know, and I was able to go back home to ask them about our modern design. And they said that they wished they knew this back in '66. The high school that I graduated from was built in '66 by the most famous Japanese architect. And once he was able to complete the construction, it became the most innovative design of a high school for the next 50 years. And we held that record for the longest time because it was timeless. The design is very similar. I'm going to say you guys almost matched it. You're almost there, but you guys exceeded it because they were so jealous of this design because we brought the community center in the center, whereas the high school that we built was exterior. And what happened is they had to go around the whole campus, which is defeat the purpose. So they had to build bridges and lateral walkways to connect over a half a mile long, property. What we cannot replicate is the insight from the students, the teachers, and the staff. That's where we can't go. We don't want to go there. It's your home, it's your space. You guys dictate what is important. Our job is to think above and beyond and to provide that foundation that you guys can build on and grow on and learn on and create your own future that will give you the most support, the most tools to go out in the world and to give back. We can't do everything, we know that. But we know that we can start something great for you guys. And we need you guys to finish strong. And based on the feedbacks and all the designs, you guys came through. This is just phenomenal. Now, my concern with all my board members about the shade is that with some of the layers of second and third floor, if you guys can move them further out and then to create that artificial shade based in the structure. This way is, two birds, one stone. Depending on the sun position, you will know which side that you guys can do that on. Because if you know lunchtime starts at 11 or 12 or whatever in the, rounds of lunchtime, that will be high noon. The sun most likely will be above them. And which angle and what part of the campus is in that area that you guys can provide that kind of structural shade. So there's one way of creating more shade is the structural shade. Another will be artificial attachment, addendums, such as the Colosseum of the Romans. Back in the old days, they had something that will move out, not the automatic closing, of anything, but just the extension of awning or permanent awning on the extended structure. So again, there's two birds, one stone. I want you guys to think further than just putting another umbrella. I don't want to see any more umbrellas because they kind of like doesn't really cover everything, to be honest with you. And if there's 4 students at a table, only 2 of them is going to get shade. That ain't going to work. And it won't be as very, comfortable. Shading is something that can be done very easily. I want you guys to now think about already the cost in it. And by the way, Barry, Tim did say that we can get whatever we want. So if it gets too high, you can just talk to him. But he already like confirmed it. So so anyway, these are just my take on it, as well as anything that goes leveling up and underneath it to provide that. When you have the metro system in inner cities, to save space, you go above, and then below you have all the shades. Again, it has to be safe, it has to be open, it has to be visible, which I do see see some of it, but if you can extend that even further and still build everything over it, like the stair to go over it. So all these little snippets you guys can, create. And of course, the solar glass, even though it's clear, it does prevent the heat. It still creates the shade. And that's the technology of those solar glass, panels that is very healthy. They still get their vitamin D too. Another thing is that if you see the mural, I just see it from this picture, so I'm only seeing what I see on the graphics. If you see the mural, I would suggest if you guys can get some feedback, surveys from all the students, what they see as their future profession, and have that drawn as the mirror so that they can feel a reflection of who they're going to be, who they're going to become, and to inspire, all students to excel. These things, or they can just do whatever they want. They can keep it the way it is. But I thought that'd be a great idea because when I was in college, it took me forever to figure out what I want to do for life. I am still figuring that out, by the way, but it's okay. Some of these phenomenal students may not know where they're going to head to, and it's okay. But at least they'll have the options. There be the CTE programs that can be reflected in the murals, as well as something connected with the nature element to it, because seeing them in nature, in their profession, builds a lot of strength. It gives them that balance of what is around them and what's within them. Another thing is that with the square feet, with the state, you say it was 312, and now we're going over about 88 square feet, up to almost 400,000, square feet. For that price tag, with the current financial economic state, that's a pretty good deal. And with the innovative lifetime design here is just phenomenal. And I couldn't be any prouder with all the feedbacks and all the designs and all the intakes that you guys received. It's hard to get people to participate. But the bottom line is, if they don't want to participate, it's okay. Those ones that comes forward, gave them their input, awesome. We do need to work on the community feedbacks. I do agree that we do need to do a better job in reaching out, maybe more than one avenue, more than 2 avenue, more than 3, 5, whatever. We just have to take that initiative on our end to really push it out to the community. Again, if they don't want to participate, that's fine, but it's on us to make sure that we reach out a little bit further. So that's just a feedback with the admins and whatnot. But currently, with what we've received from staff, teachers, students, and community members, bravo, well done. I can't imagine it anything more. I really can't. The scope of it, and then one last thing with the automobile, is there the underground, like below ground where they, no, dang, no. I can go out and dig it myself for free. Maybe one of them, can we get one of them to be below ground? Because that's also create storage area, or the ground is just not stable enough, or it's just too expensive. Yeah, just because, at least if we have one of that, not with all 4, but at least one of them, below, because that's where you can store all the oils and the equipments and whatnot, instead of having just on that ground level. So we'll look at, more organized, more clean. I can anticipate the automobile clubs, in Avondale participating with the CTE programs with the automobile. I can see, our seniors and juniors when they first drive and they want to experiment, about basic care of their cars. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's very, very exciting to see the expansion of the CTE programs and all the square foot. In addition, that will catapult us statewide with the level of the innovative, timeless, advanced design, and that you guys had 100 years in mind. So thank you for doing that. And I love the cement and the colors that are incorporated with the neutral and the colors. Let me see, I think just one more. So internally, I don't really have any, I do have inputs, but I'm not going to say any of it just because I think that the input that you guys received is what they want and what they're comfortable with. And I feel like if I put in my comments about these interior, it's almost like a personal thing, preference, which it doesn't really matter. What matters is the students, the staffs, and the teachers' input, and that's where it counts. But everything else, thank you for coming before the board. Thank you for doing the work study survey with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for, collaborating with us. Thank you for taking all our ideas and our input. We so greatly appreciate your patience and your time and your efforts and teamwork that you guys provided. So, well done. I don't feel comfortable reducing any of these price tag just because it will affect the quality of the work because Tim gave us an open book that we can just get everything. So let's lock that price in. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm just gonna keep my questions to 15 minutes if that's okay. No, I do, right, I know, Joe, right? No, I first just want to thank any of our staff members, our students, parents, community members that participated, whether it was in person, surveys. Building a new school is complicated and exciting and challenging. In recent history, obviously we've done it. So we've had, most of us had a little practice and a run through. And I'm excited for what I see, for the folks that were involved with the previous project. My biggest focus and excitement was when we finally got to the classroom building, talking about what the rooms are going to look like, whether it's CTE, our performing arts programs. Those are things that I can't wait to see. These collaborative spaces, I think, are incredible. I think we're definitely going next level with a lot of these programs. So definitely want to thank, for sure, our architect teams, construction teams for putting these together, putting hundreds and hundreds of people's visions into a couple of pictures. I'm sure that's very easy and not time consuming. But I think the direction of the product that we have going forward is incredible. I'm excited to see how this project ends up the next couple of years, and certainly welcoming students to the first day of school. But yeah, if there's no other questions or comments, I will make a motion to approve the full GMP for school, Tolleson High School number 8. Do I have a second? Right. Ready, Ms. All right. Vice President Del Palacio.
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Member Sun. Member Luna Nahara.
No.
And I vote yes. With that, the motion is carried. Again, thank you to our teams for putting the product together. So you break ground tomorrow morning. We're all just going to get up at 7 in the morning and get going. No, we'll have a lot of exciting updates, obviously, as this project moves along, groundbreaking ceremonies, beam signings, all that fun stuff. So thank you all. With that, are there any requests for future agenda items? If not now, you can reach out to Superintendent Caius in the interim.
I did make some requests privately. Hopefully, that will be reflected in the next meeting. Thank you. Also, I do feel that a lot of the board members making requests for the next agenda is not being, due diligence in a timely manner. So moving forward, please do a better job in keeping track of all board members' requests.
I've also made some requests by email, and I'm still waiting for
I was going to chat with you
replies.
afterwards.
You can email me.
I'll chat with you afterwards. Again, any future requests, please send those over to Superintendent Calles. We're not meeting until, actually, I forgot when my thing is here. Next meeting is January 13th. Members, please don't head out. We got to sign the budget before you head out. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn? All motion to adjourn. If y'all want to stay here. we
Second.
can. Thank you. All right. Member or Vice President Del Palacio.
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Member Sun. Member Luna Nair. I vote aye. Motion is carried. We are adjourned at 8:29. Thank you all. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And we'll see you all in January.